All right, here we go, video number 2. Welcome back to One with Life. Today we're gonna be talking about the Wim Hof method. What is it and why should you care? I'm super excited to share this information with you guys. Wim Hof is like legitimately one of my top 10 heroes, so let's jump right into it. In this video, we're gonna talk about the premise of cold therapy, who is the Iceman, aka Wim Hof. We're gonna talk about the benefits of the Wim Hof method, namely losing weight, drastically increasing your circulation, massive boosts of energy, immune system strengthening, and we're also gonna talk about how you can get started with the Wim Hof method today. So 5 years ago, Vice made a short film about this man. His name is Wim Hof. He's 60 years old. He's from the Netherlands. He climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in a bathing suit, like nothing but a bathing suit and boots. He was injected with the E. coli virus, and through using his own methods of breathing and cold therapy, he suffered no symptoms of having the virus in his body. His immune system was so strong, he was completely unaffected by a virus that kills people. He holds 20 Guinness World Records, including the record for the longest time spent submerged in ice. And yeah, he's just all about creating happiness, health, and strength in body, mind, and spirit for everybody on the planet. He believes that these are things that we were naturally born with, but we've kind of just lost touch with our natural selves, and so we don't always have access to these things. But today I'm gonna teach you how you can regain your access. The cold is my teacher. So Wim Hof is an amazing dude with almost superhuman abilities. And a lot of people wondered, how did he get like this? Well, like a lot of superheroes, it actually came from a pretty tragic story. In 1995, his wife, Olaya Hof, committed suicide. In the wake of her death, Wim was really depressed, really struggling with existential dread and just trying to come to grips with what happened. You know, he's got several children too, so he had to figure out how to be a single dad all by himself. And he was walking around one day in the Netherlands, and he saw this frozen pond. And for whatever reason, something called to him and just said, jump in it. So he said, fuck it, and he jumped in this pond, even though it's like freezing outside, right? And the sensation that he felt when he was in that pond, that's what saved his life. That's what taught him all these things, that's what cured his depression, and that's what brought him to where he is today. Basically what he said is that going in that water and feeling that cold reconnected him with his most primitive and natural self. And this is something that we can all do. Evolution has gifted us with several layers to our brain. The one that we consciously function with is our human brain. This is the one that makes our decisions about which color shirt to wear or where to go on vacation. But then the layer below that is the mammalian brain. Now what most people thought was this is where our drive to eat, mate. Most people thought this is where it came from. But actually, most of those urges come from an even deeper level of our brain that evolved even before mammals. Now this is the reptilian part of our brain. This is the one that's most associated with our core methods of survival. And this is the one that we're going to reconnect with by practicing the Wim Hof method. So at this point, connecting with this brain has been lab tested. It's like totally legit, certified, measured on graphs and whatnot. But when it really comes down to it, this process is more experiential. A lot of the benefits that you will see from doing this cannot be easily measured. And it really just comes down to how you feel and what you get to experience from doing these things. If you practice the Wim Hof method, you will boost your immune system, increase testosterone levels, lower cortisol levels, regulate adrenaline levels, release serotonin, and produce melanin. So all of these things together are gonna help you decrease your stress and increase your focus. Practicing the Wim Hof method is also gonna increase your circulation. It will stimulate your metabolism, and it will help you burn fat. All of these things together naturally gonna cause you to lose weight in a really safe and effective way, considering the things that you'll have to do day by day will only take about 10 minutes. For me personally, the biggest change I noticed was a decrease in inflammation. A couple years ago when I started doing the method, I actually got whiplash from snowboarding. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, when I started taking these cold showers, it really eased up the inflammation and pain in my neck. And I was able to, I had a wider range of motion and I felt a lot less pain. It also just gave me incredible amounts of energy to the degree where you almost don't even notice while you're practicing because you just feel great. But then you'll stop practicing for a week or so and you'll be like, oh shit, I'm so tired. I feel so lazy. And you'll be like, oh man, it's because I stopped doing the Wim Hof method. Then you get back on it and you feel great again. So at this point you ask yourself, do I just jump in a cold shower? And the answer to that is yes and no. There are actually 3 components to the Wim Hof method. The first one is dynamic stretching, the second is deep breathing, and the third is the cold shower. So dynamic stretching doesn't really have to be like, just standing around doing Pilates or whatever. I mean, Pilates works for sure, but so does yoga, running, any kind of cardio, lifting weights. Basically, you just want to get your muscles loose and your blood flowing. And if all of these things are a little bit too active, you can honestly just do a simple, low-impact form of exercise. Something such as rebounding or even just a walk around the block. The point here is to, like I said, get loose, get your blood circulating, get going. The second component is deep breathing. For those of you who are yogis, you're gonna recognize that this is actually just an adaptation of Ujjayi pranayama. But basically, you're gonna sit down or lay down, and you're gonna do 30 inhalations of deep breathing, like this. 30 times, right? And then at the end of 30 times, on the exhale, you're gonna do a breath hold. So you're gonna hold your breath with no oxygen in your lungs. And what this is gonna do is lower the oxygen in your blood. And you're gonna start to feel like you're running out of air. And this is key to connect to your reptilian brain because it's a very safe way for you to produce adrenaline. You're gonna momentarily go into that fight or flight mode, and you're gonna be able to consciously look at that and say, yeah, I got this. I'm okay. Like my body's going through it, but I'm in control. It's like you get the adrenaline that you would get from seeing a lion, right? Oh my God, there's a lion. I'm so alive. My body is ready to go. I'm in fight or flight mode. But then mentally, you tell yourself, there is no lion. So then you become the master because you can produce this feeling for yourself without even needing a lion or any actual danger. So yeah, you do 30 inhalations, then hold your breath. That's 1 round. And then you do 3 rounds of this, and you're done. Also, as a bonus, you can do a 4th round, and then while you're holding your breath, do as many push-ups or squats or sit-ups or whatever you want as possible, if you're feeling extra ambitious. The third and final component is getting in the cold shower, the moment that you've all been waiting for. So basically you could just huck it, just turn the water on cold and jump in the shower. But most people, especially beginners, are gonna wanna start differently. Basically what you wanna do is just take a regular shower, wash your hair, whatever, do what you do. And then at the end of the shower, you wanna switch the water completely cold. So if you have 1 knob, you turn it all the way to the left, right, whatever, all the way cold. And if you have 2 knobs, straight up turn the hot water off, just turn the cold water on. Don't baby yourself, don't try to ease your way in, just go for it. So you're gonna take your regular shower, at the end of it, you're gonna turn it to cold. You're gonna leave it on cold for as long as you can, right? And in the beginning, it might just be like 10 seconds. And then when you're like, oh fuck, I can't handle this anymore, you switch it back to hot water, right? And then you chill in there until you're feeling good about it again, and then you switch it to cold. So a basic strategy could look like this. You take your normal shower, you're in the hot water for 2 minutes, then you switch it to cold for 30 seconds, then you switch it back to hot, and then you alternate. Cold, hot, cold, end on the cold. You don't have to do this, like you could turn it back to hot and get out, but like nobody wants to get out of a hot shower, Like it feels hella good, you wanna stay in it. Jumping out of the cold shower is like the best way to take that energy. You get out and you feel strong, you feel good. You're like, oh man, I don't have to do that anymore. So inevitably you're gonna come to a point when you're in the cold shower and you're like, why the fuck am I doing this? So this slide might help keep you motivated when you feel like that. You've probably heard somewhere at some point that your intestine is about 21 feet long, right? Well, our veins, if you were to stretch them all out, all of our arteries and capillaries and everything, they would reach over 100,000 miles. And when we're hot, they expand. And when we're cold, they contract. So when we go back and forth between hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, and even just get this cold that we're not used to, it gives us an absolutely enormous boost in circulation. Our blood will flow through our bodies in a way that it never has before. And it's just incredibly healthy. We'll have oxygen moving through, minerals, like everything that our blood does for us, which is everything, it'll be doing it better, you know? Because our circulation will just be vastly improved. So this circulation improvement is gonna decrease inflammation throughout our body. We're gonna speed up recovery. So if you have like a sprained ankle or anything, it's gonna go away faster. It's also gonna ease aches and pains. So like my neck, you know, it made it so much better to the degree, like I would say it cured it, honestly, within a couple weeks. And it didn't even come back because it's not like, oh, the injury was lasting and this was just a temporary fix. It's like my muscles were inflamed and this made the inflammation go away, so I'm good now. Likewise, for mental disorders, like a lot of things with like anxiety, depression, Alzheimer's, dementia, it's inflammation in the brain. This is gonna work just as well for the blood vessels in your brain as the blood vessels in your torso or legs, you know? So it can actually help a lot with anxiety, depression, etc. So within your brain, this increase of circulation is gonna release neurotransmitters such as dopamine, serotonin, melatonin, all the stuff that I mentioned earlier, right? And this is gonna further help with anxiety and depression and focus and energy levels and just a big boost in your mood for sure. With this super circulation, you're also gonna have white blood cells moving through your system more readily, which is gonna increase your immune system response, which is going to stop you from getting sick. Now, I wouldn't do anything crazy and like inject yourself with E. coli, but if you're the kind of person who gets sick all the time, this is something you should 100% check out, especially considering the fact that it's free to do. You're also gonna regulate your adrenaline response and connect to your primal self, like I was talking about earlier with the lion. And in addition to increasing the efficiency of your metabolism, you're also gonna burn fat while you're in the shower. Because when you get cold, your body's gonna be like, oh shit, we need to maintain our core temperature, right? You need to stay like 98.6 degrees or whatever. And so you're gonna start burning calories right there in the shower, just standing there doing nothing, you'll be burning calories. And then when you get out of the shower, because you have such better circulation, your metabolism's gonna work better. So you're gonna be losing weight while you're in the shower and lose weight while you're out of the shower. And all this stuff together is just gonna, like I said, it's gonna help you with everything. There's no reason to not give this a try. It's a little bit uncomfortable at first, but I promise you that it's so worth it. It helps with your skin, it helps with your hair, it can get rid of acne, psoriasis, eczema. It helps with all of that stuff. Really, it just maximizes the function of your entire body. And it's free. I said this before, but it's free. Like, you have no reason to not try this. All right, so what did we talk about today? We talked about this beautiful man. We talked about the 3 components of the Wim Hof method that were exercise, deep breathing, and cold exposure. And lastly, we talked about the benefits of practicing the Wim Hof method, namely losing weight, fostering good mental health, and decreasing inflammation in your entire body. In conclusion, Wim Hof was not the first person to discover this stuff. Yogis and Tao masters have been doing it for thousands of years, but he is largely responsible for popularizing it. I mean, I personally wouldn't know about most of this stuff if he hadn't started making videos about it. So the fact that he's getting this information out to the masses is an incredibly generous and kind thing to do. He's an amazing dude, definitely check him out. Maybe I'll leave some links below, but you can just Google Wim Hof, you know how to spell his name now. So yeah, that's my second YouTube video. I sincerely hope that this was helpful and fun to watch. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Like and subscribe.
Peace! You should care because he's the Iceman. The Iceman.